Build when no one watches. Stoic mindset. What if everything you've been doing, every post, every action, every decision, has been for the wrong reason? What if the reason you're not where you want to be is because you only show up when people are watching? Today, we're going to talk about something that separates the ones who make it from the ones who almost made it. Something the ancient Stoics understood thousands of years ago, and something the modern world has completely forgotten. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even hard work in the way most people think about it. It's who you are when no one is watching. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you will never think about discipline, focus, and legacy the same way again. And if this message speaks to you, if you're someone who is tired of performing and ready to start becoming, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell. Because we go deep here. Every single week. Part 1: The Performance Trap. We live in a world built on performance. Social media has turned life into a stage. And most people, whether they know it or not, have become actors. They go to the gym and film it. They read books and post about it. They start businesses and announce it before they've done a single difficult thing. And here's the brutal truth: performance feels like progress. When you get likes, when people comment, you're so disciplined. When you get validation, your brain releases dopamine. It feels like you've accomplished something. But you haven't built anything. You've just collected applause. The ancient Stoics had a word for this trap. Epictetus called it living according to external opinion rather than internal virtue. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, wrote in his private journal, a journal he never intended for anyone else to read, these words: "Confine yourself to the present. Not to the audience. Not to the future image. The present moment. The work. Right now." He wasn't writing to impress you. He was writing to remind himself to stay real. To stay true. Even when no one was watching. Especially when no one was watching. Think about the people you most admire. The ones who have built something real. The ones with genuine peace. The ones who walk into a room and carry weight without saying a word. They are not performing. They are being. There's a massive difference between the two. And most people never figure it out. Part 2: Discipline is private. Here is the hardest thing about real discipline. Real discipline is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't take a photo. It doesn't need a witness. The person who wakes up before sunrise and does the work without telling anyone, that person is building something. Not because they're hiding, but because they've stopped needing permission to begin. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't grow faster because people are watching it. It doesn't push its roots deeper because someone is filming. It grows because that is its nature. Its discipline is in its design. Stoicism teaches us the concept of amor fati, love of fate. Love what is. Not what looks good. Not what gets attention. What is. And what is, right now, for most people listening to this, is unfinished work. Potential that hasn't been touched because the conditions never seemed right. Because the audience wasn't there. Because the motivation hadn't arrived. But motivation is a lie. I'll say that again. Motivation is a lie. Motivation is an emotion. And emotions are temporary. They come and they go like weather. The person who waits for motivation to start is the person who never finishes anything. Discipline is a decision. It's made once. I will do this thing, whether I feel like it or not, whether someone sees it or not, whether it's rewarded or not. That decision, made in private, carried out in private, is where your character is forged. The Stoics called this prohairesis, your power of choice. The one thing that can never be taken from you. The one thing entirely within your control. Your circumstances are not in your control. Your reputation is not in your control. Whether people recognize your effort is not in your control. But your choice to act, that is always yours. And when you make that choice in the dark, when no camera is rolling, when no one will ever know, that is when you find out who you really are. Part 3: Focus in the age of noise. We have never lived in a noisier time. Your phone is a slot machine. Every notification is designed by engineers to pull you away from your own life and into someone else's algorithm. Every platform is built to steal your attention, because your attention is the product being sold. And the cost of this is catastrophic. Not just in productivity, in identity. When you allow your focus to be constantly shattered, you lose the ability to go deep. You become a surface-level person living a surface-level life. You react instead of create. You consume instead of build. You scroll instead of think. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote this over 2,000 years ago. "It is not that I have a great deal of time, it is that I waste none of it." 2,000 years ago, and this man understood something that most people today still haven't grasped. Your time is not unlimited. And every moment you spend performing for an audience that doesn't know you is a moment you could have spent building something that outlasts you. Focus is a muscle. And like any muscle, it must be trained in resistance. Resistance means doing the boring thing. The unglamorous thing. Sitting down to write when the words don't come. Showing up to train when your body doesn't want to. Working on the business when nothing is clicking. The Stoics called this ascesis, voluntary hardship. Not suffering for no reason, but deliberately choosing difficulty because difficulty builds capacity. The fighter who trains in the rain builds more than the fighter who only trains when it's sunny. The entrepreneur who works on weekends when their friends are celebrating builds more than the one who waits for the perfect moment. The student who studies in silence builds more than the one who posts about studying. You want focus? Start by eliminating the noise that is feeding your ego instead of your growth. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel busy without making you better. Turn off the notifications. Create a space, even a small space, even 30 focused minutes, where you exist only for the work. That is where the real you gets built. Part 4. Resilience. What the Stoics knew about failure. Everyone fails. This is not a possibility. This is a certainty. The question is not whether you will fall. The question is what version of yourself stands back up. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, betrayal by those closest to him, and the weight of ruling an empire that was slowly falling apart. He did not have a perfect life. He had a Stoic mind. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about what that means. The obstacle is not blocking the path. The obstacle is the path. Every failure contains information. Every loss contains a lesson. Every rejection contains direction. But most people never receive those gifts because they're too busy performing their pain. Too busy making sure people know they suffered. Too busy looking for someone to blame. The Stoic doesn't perform suffering. The Stoic uses it. When everything falls apart, and it will, the question to ask is not, why is this happening to me? The question is, what is this teaching me? What is this building in me? What does this make possible that wasn't possible before? Resilience is not the absence of pain. Resilience is the refusal to let pain define your direction. And here is the most important thing about resilience: it is built in private. No one builds real resilience by posting about their struggles and collecting sympathy. Real resilience is built in the moments after the door closes. In the silence after the rejection. In the decision you make when no one is around, the decision to get back up, not because someone is watching, not because it will make a great story, but because that is who you are. Every time you make that decision, quietly, privately, without an audience, you are adding a layer to something that cannot be taken from you. Your character. Part 5. Legacy. Building something that outlasts you. What are you actually building? Not what are you posting. Not what are you telling people you're building. What are you actually, quietly, day by day, constructing with your choices? The Stoics had a clear answer to the purpose of a life well lived. It was not fame. It was not wealth. It was not even happiness, in the way we think about happiness today. It was virtue. And through virtue, eudaimonia. Flourishing. Becoming fully what you are capable of being. Legacy is not what people say about you at your funeral. Legacy is what you built that continues to exist and serve and inspire after you are gone. Marcus Aurelius left the Meditations, not for us. For himself. As a private journal of self-correction and growth. And yet 2,000 years later, it is read by millions. By generals and CEOs and artists and athletes. Not because he tried to leave a legacy. But because he committed, privately and relentlessly, to becoming the best version of himself. Your legacy is being built right now. In the choices you make when no one is watching. In the work you do before anyone knows your name. In the values you hold when it would be easier to compromise. What you build in private becomes your public story. The discipline that no one sees becomes the result that everyone admires. The resilience you build in your darkest moments becomes the strength that carries other people through theirs. This is why you build when no one watches. Not because you don't want to be seen. But because what is worth seeing takes time to build. And that time must be spent in the work, not in the performance of the work. So here is your challenge. For the next week, not the next month, not the next year, just the next 7 days. Do one important thing every single day that no one will ever know about. Don't post it. Don't tell anyone. Just do it. Wake up earlier. Write the thing. Make the call. Do the extra set. Read the chapter. Have the hard conversation. Start the project. Do it in silence. Do it fully. Do it as if your character depends on it, because it does. And then notice what happens inside you. Notice the quiet confidence that builds. The calm that comes from knowing who you are when the lights are off. That is the Stoic mindset. That is the foundation of everything worth building. If this resonated with you, if something in this message touched something real in you, then I want you to know, you are exactly who this channel is for. This channel exists for the builders. The ones doing the work in the dark. The ones who are tired of motivation culture and ready for something real. Something ancient. Something that actually works. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that bell so you never miss a video. Because every week, we go deeper into Stoic wisdom, mindset, discipline, and what it actually takes to build a life worth living. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone in your life who is performing instead of building. This message might be exactly what they need. The world doesn't need more performers. It needs more builders. Build in silence. Let your life speak. See you in the next one.